Hello and welcome to this quick training on how to build your signature framework, which is how to create a clear success path for your clients. I'm going to keep this one relatively short, but one thing that you should know about me is that there are two core things that we focus on inside my mastermind, or that I focus on with my clients, and that is ensuring that they are 100% confident and stand behind everything that they create. And of course, that includes having this bulletproof confidence in their ability to get results for their clients. So that's one thing. The other thing is we build systems around everything. We want to create as much predictability as possible within our business. And so delivering high level results on repeat is something that can be systemized, and that is what this framework is about. We build systems around everything from our marketing through to, our framework, everything in between. Today, we're going to stick to talking about the framework. So your signature framework, I also call this your legacy framework. And the reason that I've always split between the two, because I have this concept in my mind that everything is our signature, right? Everything that we create should have our signature on it so that our brand becomes recognized because it looks like us, it feels like us. Also believe in this legacy concept in terms of when we build something and we build something incredible that stands the test of time, it becomes a legacy. And our legacy framework is something that we can become known for over time for delivering a result. This is part of our legacy. This is our work. This is our life's work put in a framework so that we can help our clients achieve results. So your client success pathway, this is how you will deliver that big promise that you're making with your offer with predictability and ease. Now, obviously, this training is not about your offer. It's not about helping you develop your offer. It's not about helping you come to your big promise. It's not about anything to do with that. I'm assuming you have your offer in place. You feel good about your offer, or you're getting there and you know the promise that you want to make. You know the problem you're solving in the market and the promise that you want to make about your ability to solve that problem. So we're not building out the program. This is just the framework. Now, I want you to imagine a brand new client comes along and they hand you $50,000 to deliver the promise that you just made them, the promise that your offer is making. What are the steps that you are going to take them through to achieve that outcome? This is important. You need to have a framework to deliver results. This is where we're going to create that predictability and reliability in our offers. Without a framework, any success you create, especially in the early days, is going to feel like a fluke. You're going to have this idea that, you help this client achieve a result, but you don't know that you can do it again. That's pretty common, especially in the early days. So know that when you build this framework, you're going to feel so confident in your ability to generate results on repeat, which is what we want. Confidence is critical as a coach. Confident coaches become successful coaches. All right, so your framework will be built around two things. Your big promise, which also should be your client's desired outcome. What is it that they want? And then your process for helping them achieve that desired outcome. It's pretty simple. It's two things. So you have to get clear about what it is that your clients want. So what are your clients' current problems and what is it that they want? What is the desired outcome? So when I look at my own clients, for example, the current problems are there's not enough clients, or they're attracting the wrong clients. There's not enough revenue. There's inconsistent revenue. They're overwhelmed. They're exhausted. They're lacking clarity. They're lacking confidence. Feels like nothing is working. They're feeling invisible and they're overworked and underpaid. This is how they feel, right? They're lacking confidence. They're feeling all of these things. I know this. I know this from years of working with my people. And then the desired outcome is essentially a highly leveraged coaching business that provides consistent high ticket revenue, serving dream clients only. without burnout because they have an automated bespoke sales and marketing system in place. They are positioned at the top end of the market and are known for solving a specific problem in the market. How much more powerful is everything on the right-hand side? Can you imagine moving from this, constant state of inconsistently feast or famine, ending up with clients that are a pain in your butt and all the drama that goes into a business that isn't working the way you want it to, right? Of course, my clients want to work less, have more impact, earn high revenue, and they also want respect. They want to be known in their little corner of the internet because they are good at what they do. They are the best at what they do. This is what they want. And so I know where my clients are and I know what their desired outcomes are. So what is this for you? Get a piece of pen and paper and or use your computer. We're not in the freaking 60s anymore, are we? So pause this video now and get really clear on what are the current problems that your clients are facing right now, and then what do they want? If you can answer those questions, you're going to be halfway there. Okay, so pause and do that now. All right, so you should have that information now. And what you need to understand next is that your framework is how you're going to guide your client to their desired outcome. We don't want to be in this position where somebody comes along and they're like, yeah, I want to buy your program and you're promising me this big thing. And, I'm investing in this big thing because I'm relying on you to get me the result that you told me that you would help me achieve, right? You should feel very comfortable with that because you have a framework in place. If you don't, you won't. It's that simple. Your process will become your framework. So building your signature framework looks like this. I've got these sticky notes here. This is how I've created every big program, every mastermind, every mentorship that I've ever created. I start with sticky notes and I put them on my whiteboard and then I organize. So I'm going to run you through this process. This is how you're going to build this framework. We're going to start with everything that you know. We're going to create groups and define headings. We're going to organize. We're going to figure out what is miscellaneous and where are we going to put it. We're going to remove things. We're going to refine things. And then we're going to commit to our signature framework. So the first thing, step one, is to write down everything that you know that relates to you solving the problem. So for me, for example, if I were to pull out my sticky notes, I could go all day, but I'd be writing things like figure out sweet spot, define the signature offer, build out the framework, messaging, clear messaging, sales system, marketing, what's working, what's not working, foundations. I'd be just going through all of the different things that I know and the things that I need to remember. And I'm just creating sticky notes. I'm not trying to organize them at this stage. All I'm trying to do is get down everything that I think is relevant, whether it's a question, a teaching point, something I know, and it's all going on sticky notes, and I'm going to stick it all over the whiteboard or wherever, right? On a window, something like that, and just get everything down. So I want to sit there and I want to reflect on this and look at all of these sticky notes and check in. Have I forgotten anything? Does this feel like everything? I'm not going to overthink it too much at this stage. I'm just going to get all of those sticky notes up. So each sticky note has one point on it, all right? And then we move on to the next step. So the next step is we're going to group them. And these are going to become your steps, right? So, or phases or milestones, for example. So for me, if I'm doing something like this, it would be, okay, what needs to happen in the foundational piece? So I'm going to give this heading the top of this pile of sticky notes here. I'm going to call this foundations. And then I'm going to start to take the sticky notes that are, all just stuck somewhere. And I'm going to ask myself, which sticky notes go under foundation? And then I'm going to put them all under foundation. The next step will be, for example, launch. In my mastermind, we have foundations, we have launch, we have leverage, and we have scale. And so I'm like, okay, what goes under foundations? What needs to go under launch, what needs to go under leverage, what needs to go under scale. And I'm going to group them together. Again, not overthinking anything right here. I'm just grouping them as best as I can. I've got 4 groups here. You could have 6, you could have 10, you could have 3. It doesn't matter. It's your framework. Then we're going to organize. So, for example, if I've got framework, I'm going to be okay. Now, under framework, these are the 5 teaching points that I need. Under launch, these are the 5 lessons that I need to create. And then each lesson is going to have a couple of points, right? And they're all going to fit lovely. They're going to be organized. And then I'm going to have a bunch of stuff left over. And this is what I call miscellaneous. These are things that I still want to keep within my framework, but they don't really have a home. They don't really fit under any of the steps or modules or whatever you want to call it, right? They're just kind of random. And so these can be called miscellaneous. These can be called resources. These can be called bonuses. Now, keep in mind that I create hybrid products. So what that means is I create modules that are lessons, right? So that my masterminders can take themselves through the information that they need to know. And then they come to my mastermind calls. We have calls every week. And this is where the real work gets done. This is where people get to ask questions. If they're feeling stuck, I get to help them move through that. If they want me to run eyes over anything, if they're like, okay, what is my next step now? So all of the heavy lifting is done in those calls, but I do organize my modules. I love the hybrid model because it means I'm not repeating myself over and over again. I have a framework, I have structure here. Now, this is the way that I do things because it works beautifully for me. You might decide, I don't need a hybrid model. I don't want to create modules, but you're still going to need to know what are the milestones? What are the steps that you're taking your clients through and what needs to be covered? Like, how do you know, for example, how do I know when my clients have been through the foundations or the foundations have been built? I know because they've been through each of those lessons, right? For you, it might be a checklist or it might just be something that you know because it's innate, but you've still got it mapped out. You've still got it created somewhere so that you have confidence in your framework. A lot of the time, your framework will go on a sales page, for example, and that will be, this is my offer, this is the promise, and this is how I'm going to help you achieve this outcome. And your framework is just going to be the steps that you take your clients through. You need to know this stuff and you need to be clear about it. And for me, it's more important when you're creating a hybrid to have it mapped out as strategically as this, because you're going to be creating lessons. And I love hybrid models. Don't even get me started on them, but I love hybrid models. But even with my private clients, the clients that pay me a lot of money, I put them through the mastermind content. It's the same. I'm not going to have the same conversations. I want them doing what they need to do in the background so that when we are on a call, those calls are all about what do you need right now to keep moving forward. So I would encourage you to create some sort of hybrid. Most of the coaches that I work with do create masterminds or some high ticket group program. And so the hybrid model makes sense. It doesn't mean that we spend 6 months building out, recording all of our videos or anything like that, but we need to have these lesson plans in place so that we know the journey that we're taking our clients on. All right. And then the next step is to refine and commit. I got step 2 twice? Yeah, always. Okay, so this is where we make decisions, right? This is where, okay, foundations is this, launch is this, leverage is this, scale is this, next step is this, and then the miscellaneous, this is what I'm including. So we're going to get rid of anything that we don't need. We don't want excess. The thing with hybrid models, if you are teaching from, pre-recorded content as well as coaching, what you don't want is to overwhelm your clients with hours and hours of video lessons that they need to be watching before they get to speak with you because they just won't do it. And so we want to have the least amount possible, but make sure our framework is intact so that when we get on those calls, we can pick up anything that's not covered in those modules. All right, so let's just go back and have a look at your framework. I want to just, sorry if I'm making you dizzy, but I always like to do a recap. Okay, so your client success pathway is how you will deliver that big promise with predictability and ease. You want to have this level of confidence that if someone comes along and pays you 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, whatever, 10,000, and they're like, I want the program that you have to offer, and I'm trusting you to get me a result, you know exactly how you're going to achieve that result. And you're going to feel confident in it. And the more that you run that framework, the more you're going to be confident in it. I know for every step of my framework, I don't just know how to present it and deliver it. I know how to troubleshoot every single step. I know that if somebody is implementing a step and it's not working the way we want it to, I know how to fix it. And that's the beauty of having a framework, right? Because that framework is going to give you so much confidence. You're going to become a master at delivering results. And that means that you become a master at delivering results when things aren't working. It means you know how to troubleshoot your system so that it works. There are too many coaches out there who have created success because it was something that they did worked for them. And then they teach clients the same system and it's not working for the clients and they don't know how to fix it. They don't know how to troubleshoot it because they never had to do that for themselves. You need to know how to get your system to work when it's not working. You need to know how to, problem solve. So your framework is just built around two things: the big promise you're making, which is also what your client wants, and your process for delivering that desired outcome. You need to start with knowing what your clients want. So where are they now? And then what is it that they want? And then your next job is to build out your framework to make sure that you can deliver this with reliability and consistency. So here we go. So we're going to start with everything that we know. We're going to create groups and define headings. We're going to organize. We're going to figure out what's miscellaneous or bonus. We're going to remove things. We're going to refine things. We're going to commit things. And then we are going to call this our signature framework or our legacy framework. And we are going to place a lot of confidence in this framework, and it's going to change the game for you. So start with everything, group things up, organize them, refine and commit. And then if you would like me to work with you and show you how to pull this framework together, because it just feels like a big job for you, this is something that we do inside of my She Mastermind. But of course, we don't just start there. We start with helping you get clear on what is your coaching sweet spot. This is the most important piece. And then from here, we develop your signature offer. What is the offer that you are going to take to market as a high-ticket coach that makes a big promise and delivers an incredible outcome? Then we build out that framework. Then we add marketing to it. It's a whole thing. Go and have a look at the sales page. And if the mastermind feels like something that you would love to be a part of, I would love to have you inside the mastermind. You can enroll via the link below. And of course, you can message me if you have any questions. That's it. I will see you next time.